はここにいるんだろうな。見かけず。
この不現世こそ
指図も受けん。
こいつその攻め
最後の一振り。
なめてんのか俺。
躊躇してるんや。どう切る喜びを忘れた言うなら。
より。
殺しちゃダメ。
警察の維持。
嘘つけ。
腕を上げたわね、やすこ。あんたらの計画は分かってる。
なんだ深夜だぜ。
前を潰す。
影武者。
さあ子供。に決まってんだろうが。
東京を砲撃しこの国をぶっ壊す。
先生。
Battousai!
人々を巻き込むことは許さん。
そんなもんか。青石様はおかしいか。おかしい。逃がすな。歴史に憎むべき幕府もすなわちHimura.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the action-packed world of Rurouni Kenshin, Kyoto Inferno, where swords fly, explosions are a lifestyle choice, and one man's past just won't stay buried. This sequel really cranks everything up to 11, so get ready for some serious samurai showdowns. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. Our story kicks off with a grim reminder of a certain government's penchant for backstabbing. We witness the truly horrific origins of Makoto Shishio, a former assassin for the government who was burned alive after the revolution because, well, he knew too much. Turns out burning people isn't a great way to ensure their permanent silence, especially when they're this incredibly angry and skilled. He emerges from the flames, looking like a burnt toast mummy, but with considerably more murderous intent. It's a truly chilling visual, a testament to his sheer will to survive and his undying hatred for a world that tried to erase him. The air practically crackles with his vengeance. Fast forward 10 years, and our beloved wanderer, Kenshin Himura, is living a relatively peaceful life with Kaoru, Sanosuke, Yahiko, and Megumi. But peace, as we all know, is a fickle beast in movie land. Suddenly, Chief of Police Kawaji, looking rather stressed, shows up at Kenshin's dojo with some truly dreadful news. Shishio, it seems, wasn't quite as exterminated as they'd hoped. He's not just alive. He's gathered a massive army of disgruntled former samurai and is basically planning a hostile takeover of Japan. The government, fresh out of ideas and competent fighters, decides their only option is to send the very man they tried to kill, the legendary Battousai, to clean up their mess. It's a classic we messed up, please save us scenario, and honestly, Kenshin looks about as thrilled as you'd expect. He spent a decade trying to atone for his past, and now they're asking him to pick up his sword and become a killer again. Talk about a Monday morning surprise. The heavy silence in the room speaks volumes about the impossible choice laid before him. The weight of a nation resting on his weary shoulders. Kenshin, ever the selfless hero, reluctantly agrees to take on Shishio, knowing full well what it means for his vow of non-killing. But before he can go, there's the truly heartbreaking task of telling Kaoru. She, understandably, is distraught. The idea of him returning to his deadly past is terrifying. She practically begs him not to go, to stay and live the peaceful life they've built together. It's a really raw, emotional moment, captured beautifully as Kenshin tries to reassure her, even though his own eyes betray the immense sorrow he feels. He knows he can't truly protect her if Shishio isn't stopped, so he makes the agonizing decision to leave. The farewell is quiet but potent, with Kenshin leaving his reverse blade katana, the symbol of his vow, behind for her. It's a poignant gesture, a promise to return and reclaim his peaceful life. The visual of him walking away, with Kaoru watching, her hand clutching his abandoned sword, really drives home the emotional stakes. You can practically hear her heart breaking. Meanwhile, far from Kenshin's emotional turmoil, we meet the energetic and utterly charming Misao Makimachi. She's a young kunoichi, basically a female ninja, from the Oniwabanshu, a group of elite spies who previously served the shogunate. She spent her life searching for the leader of the Oniwabanshu, Aoshi Shinomori, and the rest of the gang, who mysteriously vanished years ago. Her introduction is a whirlwind of acrobatic movements and quick wit. She stumbles upon an injured member of her clan being ambushed by Shishio's thugs, because naturally everything eventually circles back to Shishio. Without a second thought, she jumps into the fray, displaying some serious ninja moves with her kunai. She's small but mighty, agile and fierce, definitely not someone you want to underestimate. It's a fantastic way to introduce a character who will play a significant role, establishing her loyalty and her impressive combat skills right off the bat. The forest becomes a blur of motion as she dances through the attackers, a true force of nature with a mission. As Kenshin makes his way to Kyoto, because apparently a chill stroll isn't an option for former legendary assassins, he's ambushed by some of Shishio's elite 10 swordsmen, the Jupongatana. Specifically, we get introduced to Hoji, Shishio's incredibly loyal and unhinged strategist, and the sadistic killer Sojiro Seta, who seems perpetually cheerful despite being an absolute menace with a sword. Sojiro is basically the living embodiment of, I'm smiling, but I will absolutely ruin your day. Their ambush is sudden and brutal, showcasing the sheer ruthlessness of Shishio's forces. Kenshin, despite leaving his own reverse blade behind, proves he doesn't need his usual sword to be a force of nature. He deftly uses a borrowed blade, deflecting rapid-fire attacks with his unparalleled speed. It's an intense sequence that reminds us just how dangerous Kenshin truly is, even when he's holding back. The metallic clash of steel and the whoosh of his movements fill the air as he navigates the deadly assault, a dance on the razor's edge where every move counts. You can almost feel the wind generated by his lightning-fast parries. During the ambush, Sojiro unleashes his terrifying shukuchi technique, which is less a technique and more like, I'm suddenly behind you. Deal with it. He moves with such incredible speed that he literally disappears and reappears, leaving Kenshin, a man known for his own superhuman reflexes, momentarily stunned. It's a truly chilling display, as Sojiro disarms Kenshin in a blink, showing a level of combat prowess that even Kenshin himself has rarely encountered. The sound of Kenshin's borrowed blade clattering to the ground is deafening in its suddenness, a testament to Sojiro's impossible speed. This isn't just fast. It's an entirely different category of movement. Sojiro's cheerful demeanor during this incredibly dangerous exchange makes him even more unsettling. He doesn't fight with malice, but with a detached, almost childlike curiosity, which is far more terrifying than any overt rage. It's a clear statement that Kenshin is up against a different breed of monster this time. Opponents who push the boundaries of what's possible. Kenshin eventually makes it to Kyoto, a city brimming with both traditional charm and, unfortunately, the creeping shadow of Shishio's influence. He's looking for the Oniwabanshu, hoping to get some intel. And who should he run into but a very excited Misao? She recognizes him instantly from stories, probably the ones where he was a slightly less murderous version of himself. It's a nice moment of levity amidst the growing dread as Misao practically latches onto Kenshin, delighted to have found a connection to her past. She's still fiercely searching for Aoshi and her clan, and seeing Kenshin reignites her hope. Kyoto itself is rendered beautifully, a vibrant backdrop that contrasts sharply with the sinister plot unfolding. The chatter of the market and the distant temple bells create a sensory tapestry, making the city feel alive, even as danger lurks around every corner. It's a brief respite, a moment of human connection before the inevitable storm of steel and fire. Misao leads Kenshin to the secret headquarters of the Oniwabanshu in Kyoto. which is now essentially run by the wise and formidable Okina, who also happens to be Misao's adoptive grandfather. Turns out Aoshi and the core members of the Oniwabanshu actually left Kyoto years ago, presumably to brood and do mysterious ninja things elsewhere, leaving Okina and Misao to tend to the home base. Okina, a former leader himself, is initially wary of Kenshin, recognizing the Battousai's reputation, but quickly sees the sincerity in Kenshin's eyes and understands the gravity of the situation. He reveals that Aoshi has gone off on a mission of vengeance against Kenshin, believing Kenshin disgraced their clan leader during a previous encounter. It's a classic case of misunderstandings lead to sword fights, which, let's be honest, is peak Kenshin lore. The quiet rustle of the bamboo leaves in the compound adds to the serene yet somber atmosphere, a stark contrast to the brewing war outside. We then cut to Aoshi, who, as Okina mentioned, is not having a great time. He's completely consumed by his desire to defeat Kenshin, viewing it as the only way to honor his fallen comrades. He's become a shadow of his former self, gaunt and driven by a singular destructive obsession. And because misery loves company, he's ended up in Shishio's orbit. Shishio, always the opportunist, extends an offer to Aoshi. Join his ranks, and he'll give Aoshi the chance to fight Kenshin to the death. Aoshi, blinded by his vengeful quest, accepts, not realizing he's essentially making a deal with the devil. It's a tragic arc for a character who once had a strong moral compass. The metallic shink of Aoshi's kodachi as he trains reflects his sharp, unyielding focus, the crisp air around him doing little to cool the fire of his vengeance. You can almost feel the weight of his grief and obsession thick in the air like a heavy fog. He's a man teetering on the edge, and Shishio just gave him a gentle nudge. Back with Kenshin, things are heating up. He and Misao discover that Shishio's forces are systematically burning villages to the ground, forcing people into their ranks. It's a scorched earth policy, literally. As they approach one such burning village, who should burst onto the scene but our loud, brawling, and utterly loyal Sanosuke, who, bless his heart, decided to follow Kenshin to Kyoto. He arrives swinging his massive zanbato, basically a giant sword that probably requires its own gravitational field, and starts laying waste to Shishio's thugs. It's a classic Sanosuke entrance, all noise, brute force, and heart. The crackle and roar of the flames add a visceral backdrop to his fight, illuminating his powerful, sweeping attacks. He's basically a one-man wrecking crew, standing up for the defenseless with a fiery passion that matches the burning village around him. It's a welcome sight for Kenshin, a familiar face in a sea of encroaching darkness, even if that face usually precedes a punch. Amidst the chaos of the burning village, Kenshin spots a young boy named Anishi, clutching a broken doll. It's a fleeting, almost silent moment, but it's packed with unsettling implications for those who know the full Kenshin saga. The boy's eyes hold a vacant, haunting look, a chilling testament to the trauma he's endured at the hands of Shishio's brutal campaign. Kenshin pauses, his gaze lingering, perhaps sensing a kindred spirit of loss or a future shadow. It's a subtle nod for the fans, a tiny Easter egg hinting at a much larger, darker story to come in future installments, effectively setting up long-term narrative threads. The acrid smell of smoke hangs heavy in the air, a physical manifestation of the despair that permeates this ravaged landscape. This brief, almost blink-and-you'll-miss-it encounter is a masterclass in foreshadowing, a silent promise of future pain. Kenshin, Sanosuke, and Misao continue their investigation, finally discovering Shishio's secret lair, a massive, industrial complex hidden deep within the mountains. And oh boy, does he have a lair. It's less a hideout and more a villainous theme park, complete with a terrifying steam-powered ironclad battleship named the Purgatory. This isn't just a boat. It's a floating fortress, bristling with cannons, and one assumes an alarming number of angry dudes with swords. Shishio's plan is simple yet horrifying. He plans to use the purgatory to sail to Tokyo, burn it to the ground, and install himself as the new ruler of Japan. Because why not? World domination is a perfectly reasonable ambition for a man who's been burnt alive. The sheer scale of the purgatory is breathtaking, a monstrous metal beast that groans and hisses with the power of its engines, practically daring anyone to challenge it. The chilling clank of metal and the hiss of steam create an oppressive industrial symphony of impending doom. It's less a subtle villain and more an in-your-face, here's my evil ship kind of guy, which, is certainly a choice. Realizing that Shishio and his Jupongatana are operating on a whole different level, Kenshin makes a crucial decision. He needs to complete his training and learn the ultimate technique of the Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu sword style. This means trekking deep into the mountains to find his notoriously reclusive master, Hiko Seijuro. Hiko is, to put it mildly, a massive curmudgeon who lives in a secluded hut, crafting pottery and generally avoiding human interaction. He's also unbelievably powerful, basically a walking tank with a katana. Their reunion is exactly as awkward and full of unspoken history as you'd expect from a stoic student and his grumpy master. Hiko initially gives Kenshin a good verbal lashing for abandoning his training and getting rusty. It's less a warm welcome and more a, "What are you doing here, you disappointment" kind of vibe. The crisp mountain air and the faint sound of the wind through the pines provide a stark, almost spiritual backdrop to this significant reunion. It's time for Kenshin to level up, or, face certain doom. Hiko, ever the gentle mentor, immediately puts Kenshin through a grueling training regimen, emphasizing that the Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu's ultimate technique, the Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki, is only accessible to those who are truly ready. And Kenshin, apparently, is not quite truly ready. Hiko relentlessly batters Kenshin, showcasing his absurd strength and skill. We're talking about a man who can block Kenshin's strongest attacks with seemingly no effort, making Kenshin look like a beginner. The thud of Kenshin hitting the ground after each of Hiko's strikes is almost comically loud, a constant reminder of the power gap. This training isn't just about physical conditioning. It's about breaking Kenshin down mentally to build him back stronger, to force him to abandon his self-doubts and embrace the full power of his style. It's a baptism by fire, literally, given the snowy mountain setting. The air is thick with the exertion of their battle, the sharp whoosh of their blades cutting through the silence, punctuated by Kenshin's grunts of pain. He definitely earned his dinner, if he could even stand to eat it. After multiple beatdowns and what could only be described as tough love with a katana, Hiko finally explains the true secret behind the Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki. It's not just about speed or power. It's about a deeper understanding of one's will to live, one's desperation to survive, and the courage to sacrifice. It's less a fancy sword move and more a psychological mind game where your opponent hesitates, thinking you missed. Apparently, if you're not willing to metaphorically throw your life away in the first step, you can't achieve the second, truly devastating one. Who knew sword fighting was so philosophical? The intense focus in Hiko's eyes as he explains this profound concept is palpable, and Kenshin, despite his bruises, absorbs every word. The quiet rustle of their robes and the distant sounds of nature create a contemplative atmosphere, allowing the weight of Hiko's wisdom to sink in. It's basically Jedi Master level teaching, but with more hitting. While Kenshin is busy getting a martial arts masterclass, Kaoru, bless her determined heart, can't just sit around and wait. Knowing Kenshin, she figures he's probably getting into trouble, or at least some intense spiritual growth via blunt force trauma. So she decides to follow him, taking his reverse blade katana with her as a sign of her unwavering belief in his vow. It's a testament to her strength and her deep love for him, embarking on a dangerous journey alone to find the man she cares for. She's not just a damsel in distress. She's a woman with a mission and a pretty good kendo instructor to boot. Her journey is arduous, highlighting her dedication. The crunch of her footsteps on the dirt road and the faint whisper of the wind against her clothes underscore the loneliness of her quest. But her resolve shines through, a beacon of hope against the looming darkness. Back in the chaotic world, Shishio's Jupongatana are really making a name for themselves, primarily by being terrifying. We get a glimpse of the blind swordsman Usui, who, despite lacking sight, is eerily perceptive thanks to his heightened hearing and a shield he uses to feel vibrations. He's basically Daredevil, but with a lot more murder. He effortlessly cuts down groups of people, showcasing the terrifying variety of skills within Shishio's elite unit. They're not just strong, they're unique, each with their own brand of deadly. The horrific screams of the villagers and the cold, almost mechanical shink of Usui's blade create a truly unsettling atmosphere, cementing the Jupongatana as a formidable and utterly ruthless force. These aren't just mooks. These are mini-bosses, and they make Kenshin's previous foes look like a bad day at the park. While Kenshin is training, Sanosuke and Misao are trying to keep Shishio's forces from completely overrunning Kyoto. This leads to Sanosuke facing off against one of Shishio's most unusual and frankly biggest henchmen, Fuji. Fuji isn't just tall, he's a mountain of a man, literally a giant. This fight is less a duel and more like an ant trying to take down an elephant. Sanosuke, with his unwavering loyalty and sheer stubbornness, charges in with his mighty Zanbato, even though he's clearly outmatched in sheer size and power. The ground practically trembles with Fuji's footsteps, and the thud of his massive fists hitting the earth creates miniature craters. Sanosuke, despite getting knocked around like a rag doll, keeps getting back up, his spirit unyielding. It's a testament to his incredible resilience and his never-give-up attitude, even when faced with a truly impossible foe. He might be getting pounded, but he's buying time, and that's what counts. Shishio, being the impatient villain he is, decides it's go time and unleashes his full plan for Kyoto. His forces ignite strategic points across the city, turning the beautiful ancient capital into a raging inferno. The roar of the flames, combined with the terrified screams of the citizens, creates a truly horrifying soundscape. It's a calculated act of terror, meant to break the spirit of the people and pave the way for his conquest. The orange glow of the fires against the night sky is a powerful, terrifying visual, painting a picture of utter devastation. This isn't just a battle. It's an apocalypse for Kyoto. The sheer scale of the destruction highlights the immense danger Shishio poses and the urgent need for Kenshin to return. He's not just attacking the government. He's attacking the very soul of Japan, and frankly, he's doing a disturbingly good job of it. It's like a really aggressive, unwanted urban renewal project. Having finally mastered the ultimate technique, or at least gotten a firm grasp on it, Kenshin descends from the mountain to find Kyoto in flames. Talk about bad timing for a victory lap. He rushes through the burning streets, the acrid smoke stinging his eyes, his face set in a grim mask of determination. He knows exactly where Shishio will be, on the purgatory, ready to set sail for Tokyo. The urgency of the situation is palpable, conveyed through the rapid cuts and Kenshin's frantic pace. The crackle and roar of the inferno are constant companions, a relentless auditory assault that fuels his desperate race against time. He's basically living out every action hero's stop the bad guy before the big evil thing happens trope, but with significantly more fire. This isn't just a dash. It's a sprint against utter annihilation. And he's not about to let his city burn. Our heroes, Kenshin, Sanosuke, and Misao, converge at the docks, all with the same idea. Get on that ridiculously large evil battleship. The Purgatory, a marvel of villainous engineering, is already starting to pull away. This calls for a dramatic boarding sequence, naturally. Sanosuke, being Sanosuke, just barges his way onto a smaller boat, while Misao, agile as ever, uses her ninja skills to latch onto the ship's rigging like a human grappling hook. Kenshin, with his newly refined skills, executes a gravity-defying leap, landing gracefully on the deck. The rhythmic thump-thump-thump of the ship's massive engines and the spray of water against its hull add to the dynamic tension of the scene. It's an incredibly cool and coordinated effort, each hero using their strengths to infiltrate the enemy's lair. They're basically Ocean's 11, but with swords and fewer tuxedos and a lot more immediate danger. The metallic clang of their landing signals the start of the final showdown. Once aboard, it's pretty much an immediate welcome to the party, here are your sword-wielding hosts situation. Kenshin, Sanosuke, and Misao are immediately swarmed by various members of Shishio's Jupangatana. It's a chaotic, multi-front battle across the deck of the Purgatory, with the rocking of the ship adding an extra layer of difficulty. Kenshin faces off against several of them at once, his enhanced speed and precision on full display. Sanosuke, meanwhile, is doing what he does best, punching and smashing his way through thugs with his giant zanbato, creating a delightful symphony of bone-crunching impacts. Misao, with her agile ninja moves, takes on a different set of opponents, a whirlwind of kunai and acrobatic dodges. The clang of steel against steel, the shouts of battle, and the constant hum of the ship's engines create an overwhelming auditory experience. It's a beautifully choreographed mess, a true testament to the skill of everyone involved, even the bad guys. It's like a high-stakes game of whack-a-mole, but with much sharper consequences. After battling through Shishio's forces, Kenshin finally comes face-to-face with the man himself. And what an entrance Shishio makes. He's a walking inferno, literally, as his sword is constantly alight due to the oils he uses, making him not just a formidable swordsman, but also a fire hazard. The air immediately thickens with the heat of his blade and the palpable tension between these two former assassins. Their first exchange of blows is incredibly intense, a clash of two legendary styles. Shishio, despite his burns, moves with a terrifying, almost primal power, each swing of his flaming blade carrying immense destructive force. Kenshin, now wielding his master's blade, matches him blow for blow, his eyes filled with grim determination. The metallic shriek of their swords colliding echoes across the deck, a truly visceral sound that sends shivers down your spine. This isn't just a fight. It's a battle of ideologies, a clash between the past and the desperate fight for the future. You can almost feel the heat radiating off Shishio's sword. During their brutal duel, Kenshin, realizing the sheer power of Shishio, knows he has to pull out all the stops. This is it. The moment to unleash the Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki, the ultimate technique of his sword style. He performs a dizzying series of movements, culminating in a powerful two-step attack. The first part, designed to draw the opponent in, is swift and deceptive. The second, a devastating follow-up strike, hits with a force that can shatter bone. The whoosh of his blade as it cuts through the air, followed by the sickening crack of the impact, is incredibly satisfying. Shishio, despite his strength, is taken completely by surprise, thrown back by the immense power of the attack. It's Kenshin at his absolute peak, a whirlwind of speed and precision, demonstrating why he was once feared as the Battousai. This isn't just a fancy move. It's a statement, a declaration that Kenshin has truly transcended his past limitations and embraced his full potential. The ship itself seems to groan under the force of their legendary clash. As the battle rages, the Purgatory, which has already taken quite a beating, suffers critical damage. Whether it's from Kenshin's ultimate technique, Sanosuke's explosive attacks, or just really bad structural integrity, the ship begins to fall apart. Explosions ripple across its metal hull, sending fragments of steel flying and plumes of black smoke into the sky. The ship groans and creaks, a dying metal beast, as water rushes in, threatening to drag everyone down into the depths. The deafening roar of the explosions and the frantic shouts of people trying to escape create a truly chaotic and terrifying environment. It's a race against time for everyone to abandon ship before it becomes their watery tomb. Shishio's grand plan quite literally sinks before his eyes. It's a spectacular display of destruction, a fitting end for such an ostentatious villain lair. You almost feel bad for the engineers who put it all together, only to see it become a giant, flaming coffin. Amidst the wreckage and the chaos, Kenshin finds himself overboard, swept away by the current and the explosions. The movie concludes, for now, with Kenshin's unconscious body washing ashore on a desolate beach. He's alive, but barely, his clothes torn and his body battered from the ordeal. It's a stark, almost serene scene after the fiery destruction, the gentle lapping of the waves a stark contrast to the battle's roar. But just as he seems utterly alone, a figure appears, tending to his unconscious form. It's a moment of suspense and uncertainty, leaving viewers on a tantalizing cliffhanger. Who found him? What will happen next? This movie definitely knows how to leave you wanting more, ending not with a bang, but with a quiet, lingering question. You can practically feel the salt spray and the cool sand beneath him, a vulnerable hero waiting for his next challenge. It's an effective way to bridge into the next installment, promising more adventures and deeper mysteries. As the camera reveals the identity of Kenshin's rescuer, it's Kaoru, of course. She traveled all this way, enduring hardship and danger, and finally found him, battered and unconscious, but alive. The raw emotion on her face, a mix of relief, fear, and unwavering love, is palpable. She kneels beside him, tears silently streaming down her face, tending to his wounds. The gentle sound of the waves reinforces the quiet intimacy of this reunion, a moment of fragile peace after unimaginable turmoil. She brought his reverse-blade katana with her, symbolizing her belief in his promise to return to a life of non-killing. It's a powerful statement of her devotion and her hope that he can indeed live up to that vow, despite the horrors he faces. This scene serves as a much-needed emotional anchor, reminding us of what Kenshin is fighting for, and why his peaceful future means so much. The movie leaves us with this image of enduring connection, a glimmer of light amidst the lingering shadows, and so, with Kenshin's eyes slowly fluttering open, meeting Kaoru's tear-filled gaze, Rurouni Kenshin, Kyoto Inferno draws to a close. It's an ending that's less a conclusion and more a very clear to be continued, leaving us hungry for the next chapter. We've witnessed incredible action, heartbreaking sacrifices, and the unyielding spirit of a man trying to escape his past while saving his future. The sound of the ocean continues to lull, a rhythmic promise of new beginnings and continuing struggles. This movie truly elevates the Kenshin saga, delivering on all fronts, from its stunning choreography to its deeply emotional character arcs. It reminds us that even when facing overwhelming darkness and seemingly insurmountable odds, the human spirit, driven by love and a desire for peace, can find the strength to endure. It's a testament to the idea that even after being burned, quite literally, one can still rise, and that sometimes the greatest battles are fought not with a sword, but within the heart. Until next time, keep those katanas sharp because the fight is far from over, and Kenshin always has one more trick up his sleeve, or, just an incredible amount of willpower.